questions do you guys have? Something that maybe we do, something you ask, why do we do something a certain way? What do I do up here? That's different than officers that work the street. Come on, so no questions?
That's shocking to this group.
Yeah, I know, I was gonna say, I see some of the things in here. Okay,
What kind of education did you need for this?
okay, for the police department in Grand Island, we only require a high school diploma. But if you have a high school diploma only, you're gonna need some type of training such as military or vocational training, okay? I have a bachelor's degree from UNK many years ago. And when you get hired, after you pass the written test, there's a physical test. There's a background investigation that takes a while to complete. And if the city offers you the employment, you accept it, then you go out to the training center out by the airport, and that's where we train at. That's about 16 weeks long. And then if you graduate from there, then we have what we call as a field training program. We call it FTO. And that's when you have someone ride with you, and they articulate it on everything that you do. It could be your driving, how you respond to calls, officer safety, public relations, things like that. So it's not something where you get hired the next day you're working the street. It takes about a good 7 or 8 months before you to get to working the street by yourself. Question? Okay. What are some of the challenges of our job? Okay, as you guys know, boys and girls, the media in the last couple of years has not been very kind to law enforcement. They have no problem showing the videos where the officer kills someone. But they never show the videos of the officers getting killed. Okay, such as Dallasville this past summer. They were showing that for a while, but then the next day it was something where the officer shot and killed the guy with a BB gun, and they said it was the officer should have articulated that it was a BB gun, even though the guy took the orange thing off and modified it to look like a rifle. So the media part's tough. Around here, we get a lot of good support, because our department does a lot of public relations stuff. And we're in your schools, we're in your communities doing things. Technology is an issue, because most of the problems I deal with up here involving boys and girls is technology. Okay, Facebook, girls, don't take it offensive, but girls are the worst on this. If she don't like her, she's on Facebook trashing her, and then she gets mad, and then her other friends are circling around telling her to do something. That's the problem we have with a lot of technology. It's difficult for, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids to be mature enough to handle that sometimes. Not all the time. Most of you do a pretty good job. Some of you don't. And that's where we have to step in. Okay, and one of the other questions that was talked about was, let me find it. What was the most rewarding project I've ever worked on? And why was it rewarding? I don't know if I have a specific one, but I have one with a girl, she's now graduated, but years ago, her mom was attacked walking home. She was leaving the bar, she worked at a bar, she was walking out, she got jumped from behind, taken in, kidnapped, sexually assaulted, guy left her for dead. We had nothing to go on. Because she didn't see him, she got knocked out, she doesn't remember much. Anyway, it's one of those deals where you have to keep working at it. Long before there were cell phone cameras. We were able to figure out who was possibly involved. I was able to find him, and I did get him to admit to at least having sexual relations with the gal, which she had no idea who he was. So he was convicted, he was sent away for 40 to 50 years. But that was something that took about 7 or 8 months of working constantly, trying to figure out who this person is. We went around to neighbors' houses, we went around all over the town trying to find anyone that would be able to help us with this. So that was a project that took a lot of time. It was very frustrating at times because the one thing that really bothered me about that case was the poor lady was laying in front of a house screaming for help, and people turned their lights off and didn't call 911. The person who called 911 was a newspaper carrier who found a naked woman covered in blood in the front yard. So that's what made me sick about the whole deal. And that's what made me rewarding, was able to find, it was a long drawn out case, but it made it find out who was involved and put him away for a very long time. Okay, why did I choose this career? Well, when you guys get old enough and you want to choose something, you figure out what you want to do. I knew what I wanted to do when I was younger. Okay, my older brother, who was about 12 years older than me, was a state patrolman. Okay, and I always kind of looked up to him because he's my older brother. And I wanted to go join the state patrol. And when I was in high school, about your guys' age, I think you guys are freshmen and sophomore. Mostly, who's all freshmen? Is everyone in here a freshman?
I think we're all freshmen.
Okay, so when I was about your age, he had gone through the police academy, or the state patrol academy, graduated, and was on his own. He was out of North Platte at the time. So I rode around with him for a little bit, and I realized I liked some things about the job, but there's a lot of things I don't like. And what he had to do was, in those days, he was working out of the way station where the semis go through. So he'd only go on the road, on the interstate, if there's a bad wreck, or if, let's say, a truck driver doesn't stop to get laid. So it wasn't nothing real exciting. And it's where they usually start people off at. So he wanted down there, he wanted to move up as fast as he could. So when he got promoted up to patrolman, I rode with him one more time, and there were certain things I liked, but I realized I didn't want to work on the interstate. I wanted to work in a community, like Omaha, Lincoln, Grand Island. So I chose at a young age what I wanted to do. So when I started college, I knew what I was going to major in, what classes I had to take, who I had to quit hanging out with so I didn't get in trouble. And there's certain things that you guys all will have to make a decision about. Is anyone, I don't know if this is possible, is anyone in here interested in being in law enforcement? Okay. We usually get a couple kids that come in, and I always give them recommendations on what to do and what not to do. Just as in teaching, in nursing, and in law enforcement, the first thing that we do is when you apply for a job to be a teacher, nurse, law enforcement, whatever, that requires a state license, they have you sign a form. And on that form, it says you must consent to all of our background stuff, including social media. Well, what they do is, just because you put something on Facebook and you delete it because it's inappropriate, or maybe it's something that's probably not very nice, what you don't realize is it's permanently there. All we have to do is file a subpoena with Facebook, and they pull up everything that has your name tagged in it. If you're tagged in a picture with illegal stuff going on, it's forever there. If you're tagged, someone makes a comment about you, and you guys are doing something inappropriate, and your name is mentioned in there, and you delete it, it's permanently there. So that's what I always tell kids. Remember what you post. Before you post something, think about it for about 30 seconds and realize, is this worth getting my mom and dad mad at me? Or getting the cops after me? Or my boyfriend or girlfriend mad at me? Think about that before you post it, because it's permanently there. And that's not just for Facebook, that's for Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, all the other stuff that you guys do. Okay, so it's always there. And I'll be honest with you, we eliminate a lot of police officers every year in our background checks solely based on social media stuff. We'll get 100 people to test, and about 60 to 70 of them will pass the written test, the physical test. We'll bring them in for interviews and have them sign the form. And out of that, we usually end up with about 25 or 30 left. Because most of them get cut because of the stuff that they post or they did in their background or on social media. So, getting back to my original theme, why did I just want to get out. I like to help people. I didn't want to sit in an office. My dad's an accountant, retired. I was good at math, I was good at accounting. He really wanted my brother and I to be an accountant, be in accounting. My parents did not want my brother and I to be police officers. They were scared to death. And I told him, I said, hey, this is what I wanted to do since I was a little kid. You gotta trust me on this. And eventually they were like, well, it's your career, it's your life. If you wanna do it, that's fine. But you know, they still worry about me, and they're in their 80s, and they still worry about me all the time. They're my brothers. So, I know I sit in an office up here, so that's ironic. The thing is I don't sit in there very long. You guys see me in the passing periods, and what else I do is what you guys usually don't see. If I'm not talking to someone because of an interview, I'm usually out in the parking lots, or I have to go to my elementary schools and deal with stuff over there. So, anyone in here went to Lincoln Elementary? I recognize you. Okay, I don't remember him as much. You were probably in trouble all the time. And then, who went to Gates? Anyone go to Gates? No? Who went? Did you? Okay. Who's my other school? Gates, because I just switched to Gates, Lincoln, West Lawn. Anyone go to West Lawn? Okay. 5th grade?
No, I went there, second grade.
Okay.
No,
I was gonna say,
second grade.
okay. You went to 5th grade, didn't you? Yeah.
Oh,
So West Lawn's my alma mater, so that's where I went, back when it was at 5 Points. So that's where I go sometimes too, is my elementary school. So you guys see me here, but I'm not here a lot, as much as you think I am in my office. I'm usually out and about doing stuff. So that's why I do what I do, because I don't want to be sitting in an office all day. I don't want an office job. One of the things I like about my job is it's unpredictable. Every day is something different. I don't walk in and say, oh, okay, bell rang at 8. Well, I can go get coffee now. I can go work on homework or whatever I have to do for classes. I'm done. No, it's, okay, I might have 3 or 4 kids waiting out front to talk to me. I may have had a fight that happened the night before. I may have some type of child abuse, some type of abuse call right off the bat. That's the difference between what I do and other people do. Our jobs are never predictable. So it says, can you describe your typical day? Well, there's nothing typical in law enforcement. My hours are 8 to 4, but I usually get here about 7:25, 7:30 in the morning, so I can beat the traffic chaos that comes on outside. And I usually leave about 3:50, and that's usually after you guys have all cleared out, and there's no kids waiting around to talk to me. It said, one of the questions was, did you know what you were going to do when this, did you know you were going to do this job when you were that our age? Yeah, I would say, because you guys are freshmen, I would say when I was about 14 or 15, this is what I wanted to do. Okay, what I didn't tell you is I have my identical twin. Okay, he looks just like me. We used to look almost exactly alike. He's also a police officer too. So, yeah, ironically, we don't work together, and I'm thinking that's probably a good thing, because when we were together, we get in trouble a lot. So, he knew what he wanted to do, I knew what I wanted to do, and it was one of those deals where it's like, okay, it made my parents really nervous, but that's part of being, what our career is, okay? Whether you're in teaching, nursing, doctor, lawyer, there's always gonna be certain parts of your job that you don't like, but you have to deal with it. Okay, I can tell you I have 2 sisters that are teachers. And this is the time of year they absolutely hate. Because you guys see the warm weather, the sun's out, what do you guys want to do? You want to be in school? No, you want to be somewhere else. Okay? Just like the fall. When school starts, everyone's excited. About day 2, they're like, oh, this sucks. It's nice outside, I'm stuck inside a classroom. My sisters deal with it all the time. certain things, of every career that you do is gonna be challenging. Okay, construction, weather, that's part of the problem. Okay, does my job take any special talents? No, not necessarily. You have to be trained on how to do certain things. Radar, how to work a radar in a car, that's a 3-day class. And it's not just you point something at a car and you read it. When you get trained on radar, it's, they have a chart, you have to tag 1,000 vehicles. And you have to be within your average has to be within 3 miles an hour. So what it is in an audible tone, if it's real high pitched, means that the car's going quite a bit faster than what it should be. So you have to get within 3 miles an hour to get certified. And you don't think it's that hard until you start doing it. And you realize when you get to about 1,000 cars, you go from a 25-mile-per-hour zone to a 50, to a 45, to a 35, wherever they're going to spread you around. You have to articulate and determine how fast that car is going. Because it isn't just a robot where you point at it and say, oh, that looks like a speed. No, you have to visually see it. Other things are working a computer. You got to know how to work social media. You got to know how to work typing wise. You got to be a quick typer. When I train guys and girls for law enforcement, I'm a stickler for reports. Miss Kurtz and I, we had the same English teachers. She went to the same high school I did. Very picky on grammar and spelling. I hate when people spell words wrong. I hate when people don't use proper punctuation. And I'll get the report back to them and say, fix this. This looks like my kindergarten wrote it. And they'll have to fix it. Okay, so I'm very picky on my reports. I want stuff detailed. When we do a police report, it isn't just so-and-so fought so-and-so. No, we have to put in there details of everything and articulate everything we did. Got sent to the office because of this fight. Talk to so-and-so. This is the reason, his statement. Went back, talk to so-and-so. This is his statement. Watch video, or if there's no video present. Met with the teacher, met with the principals who said that this is what happened. What you guys think takes 5 minutes, takes a lot longer. Television, if you guys ever watch cop shows on television, they can get warrants in 30 seconds? Well, I'll just get a warrant, so they call a judge. I don't know of any police department in America where you can get on the phone with a judge and get a warrant over the phone. You have to, a search warrant takes about 3 to 4 hours to type. And it's about 20 to 30 pages long, on average, okay? You get a homicide or you get a drug case, you're talking 40 to 50 pages for a search warrant. Okay, that's not single, or that's not double space, that's single space. So it's a lot of work. But that is part of the struggles of the job too, is paperwork. When I first started, your paperwork was pretty simple. Now, there's so many different computer forms that you have to go through. So that can be a challenge. Are there any limitations on your personal and or social life because of the nature of your work? I would say yes, okay? I grew up in this town. Being an identical twin, a lot of people my age remember me just because I was a twin. So when you're a police officer, does it look good if you're going out to the bars and getting drunk all the time? No. Does it look good if you're a police officer and you're driving like an idiot down the road, passing cars, speeding, blowing stop signs, running red lights? No. Because people know who you are. It doesn't take them long to figure out that you're a police officer. Who do you think they're calling when this stuff's going on? With camera phones, and you're at the bar drinking, they'll take your picture, okay? For example, we went to eat one day at a restaurant. Some guys were in there, they knew I was a cop. They took pictures of me, sent them around, and then sent them to my boss. I was with my wife and my kids, and we were eating tacos, and I had a thing of Diet Coke on my table. And I'm sitting there going, really? So, it is what it is. You have to be careful what you do outside of work too, right? And I don't just be a police officer. I also help with a lot of youth sports. I've coached all my I have 3 kids, I coach them all in baseball, softball, basketball for 2 of them, and football. I've done the youth football program for years up here. And I helped coach tackle football last year for a team who did not have a coach. So understand that just because we wear the uniform doesn't mean that we're just here to throw people in jail. I like to do other stuff too. Okay? I think that's about it. And stuff. Oh, one more, I forgot. How do you advise for future, how to plan for your future? I always tell kids 3 things. College. If you can't afford to go to college, I couldn't either. I took out student loans. It's the best decision I ever made. If you don't want to go to college and you're not a kid who likes school, that's fine. My brother joined my oldest brother joined the military. Okay? College or military. If you can do both, do both. Because a lot of your military branches will pay a big chunk of your college. Girls, if you have any interest at all in the military, they will pay you a fortune to be in the military. Right now, they recruit like crazy, especially for the Air Force and the Army. I know we have one girl that graduates, she's getting 3/4 of her college paid for when she's done with basic training. Okay, and she's going to UNK, so she's getting a $12,000 check every year that she's at UNK. That does not include financial aid, which means she could get scholarships for everything else. She could literally be making money going to college. And if college or military is not an option, I always say vocational training. And I mean, like, if you like cars, go to Milford or Wyoming or whatever, if you guys like to work on cars. Cabinetry, the CPI, Career Pathways Institute, there's all types of stuff that they have now we didn't have when I was your age. Okay, a lot of that stuff you can make good money in. Construction, you can make really good money in, but you gotta work at it. You can't just sleep all day and show up for a couple hours and go to work. Okay, so no matter what you go to, you don't necessarily have to go to a 4-year college, but you need some type of secondary education because the world's changing. When I was your age, if you had a high school diploma, that could get you about every job. Now, that ain't gonna get you a lot. And when you guys have kids, it might be something even more. Okay? What are some questions? Dakota, wake up. I know I'm boring, I can't help it, you ask questions. What are some questions?
What are some questions you guys have?
What? You can ask me anything, as long as it's not inappropriate. Come on, I know some of you in here talk all the time, because I hear you see in the hallway, you guys are like social butterflies.
What's the most stupidest thing that's happened so far?
What'd you say?
What's the most stupidest thing you've had to deal with here?
Stupidest thing I had to deal with here, this year, or in all my
All the
years?
years that you put in.
Next year.
I can tell you, the biggest problem I have, the stupidest thing I have is when kids bring toy guns to school. You laugh, but I average about 15 a year I take off kids. And I had a kid last year, bring a toy gun to school and was showing it off in class, and one of the kids came to get me, and it looks just like a real gun. I still have it in my office. Looks like a real gun. So he goes and tells his teacher he needs to come down and see me. He comes walking in and tells me what's going on. So Officer Jaden and I, and we get a couple of the other middle school guys to go into the classroom and grab the kid, figure out it's a toy gun. You know what his excuse was? I was out shooting birds over the weekend. He goes, I left it in my bag and I want to show someone, show a kid what it looked like. You don't bring that stuff into school. Okay? 25, 30, 40, 50 years ago, you could do that. Okay? You can't do that anymore. That's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard or seen. Yes? I didn't hear what you said. About every other day, we catch someone selling or using drugs. Okay? Realistic wise, when I was your guys' age, the biggest problem we had was with alcohol. When I first started up here 9 years ago, it was alcohol and some pain pills. Okay, prescription pills. Now, the culture has changed, and people are, kids are using marijuana more than alcohol when it comes to getting in trouble. Because Colorado allows it for people 21, but they don't realize, such as incompetent as they are as a state, that they thought when they wrote the legislation that all the drugs that they sold them for marijuana was going to stay in the state. They didn't realize that you could buy unlimited amounts and bring it across state lines. You have to be 21 to buy it in Colorado, which kids here don't understand because they just show it and say, well, I'm 18. Well, that's great. You can't have it. But the problem I have is when you're using drugs and you're in our building, because it affects the teacher, it affects you, because you can't learn when you're under the influence. And if you are disrupting the classroom, all the other kids in the classroom can't learn either. Because now, is there a lot of drug dealing going on? I would like to say no. I say there's some. We're not naive. We know what's going on. But I would like to say it's getting better than it was in the last few years. And part of that deal is the kids who are selling, who get in trouble, are usually kicked out of here pretty quick. And that's a never-ending problem. That's been a problem long before I was ever born, was selling drugs. Because if I bust you for drugs and you're selling other kids in here, all they do is they find someone else to give it to sell drugs. And that's the problem we run into, is that there's a lot of kids who get wrapped up into it too far and they can't get out.
What's your biggest case with that? The big case of
Drugs up here in a couple years ago, I had, right when Colorado legalized it, I had 2 kids that were already busted for selling drugs from other schools, and they were set up to go out to senior high. And because we were a Title I school, we have to take it. Well, I caught one kid with a very large, 4 or 5 large mason jars full of marijuana, selling them out of a locker room. I had another kid that was selling them out of a car, all at the same time. But it wasn't too hard to figure out when they show up here and you see the kids who are using marijuana every day, because I can tell which kids are using every day based on who I deal with and my drug training. And they flock to these 2 guys like they're the greatest thing ever. Luckily, both of those 2 are put away for 27. I think one got 27 years and one got 25 years. So they're going to be about my age when they get out. What? I just turned 41. So they threw away 25 years of their life because they thought it would be great to sell drugs. Some other questions?
Is it true when you're going after if someone was running along the cops and the cops go after them and the cops rape something in the body, the guy has to pay for it.
Okay, so if the guy runs away from us and we take him down and he gets hurt.
No, you get hurt. Wow.
I can, yeah. If I'm working, my insurance covers it. Okay, it's kind of workers' comp. Now, my insurance company can go after him. Okay, and as naive as it sounds, or as stupid as it sounds for people who don't work in law enforcement, what you don't understand is if I go after you and I hurt you, even if I'm justified with what I'm doing, he could still come after and sue me for breaking his arm or hurting his shoulder or whatever else, even though I've been cleared of everything, even though I was justified by force. You can sue on anything. Okay, you could go right down now and sue me for looking at you fighting in the hallways or something. That's how stupid people are. Not saying it's going to get anywhere, but yes. But we have insurance. Once you're working, most of your jobs that you guys get out, even outside law enforcement, if you're up here working, you'll have an insurance company. If you get hurt, Their insurance covers it, but they go after the person for cheap. So yes, it can happen. I wouldn't expect it. I'm still waiting for payment for when I got a broken bone, and that was 11 years ago. And I'm still waiting for the guy to pay me back. And, it's been 11 years. So I don't hold my breath on it, but it happens. Now, if I were to do something to hurt you and I wasn't justified, then you're gonna sue me and sue the department, yeah, then you're gonna get your money. So, what else?
Have you ever had to chase someone?
Have you ever got to tase someone?
Chase.
Oh, yeah.
Chase that.
Yeah, especially when you work the street. You work night shift, you're gonna be, the media's made it okay the last few years for people to run from the police. Because what's the first thing you do when you turn on the news, you see police chases. And everyone's like, oh, that's awesome, they love that kind of stuff. So people like to do it. So yeah, when you're working the street, it happens all the time. When you work a night shift,
Have you?
oh yeah. When I'm not working here, I work the street. So what happens, I work with summertime, Christmas, Thanksgiving, spring break, I work the street.
One of the faster, do you just stop running or do you keep running at them? When they're faster.
They might be faster than me, but I guarantee you I'm in better shape than most of them. And they usually die about 2 or 3 blocks after the run. See, what you don't realize is, you guys are in PE class. Have you guys done the mile run? Now, have you guys done like shuttle runs or sprints or anything like that? Yeah, well, tell me about it. Now, you might get, I consider law enforcement guys more like the mile runners. You might get ahead of a lot of them, but your adrenaline's kicking so fast, you're gonna die a lot quicker, run out of breath than we do because we're used to it. So yeah, I chase my fair share. Yeah, the taser, I've used it many a time. It's a great tool, it keeps people from getting hurt. Okay? You see the dot on the door back there? Okay, so this here is a cartridge. It's got a prong above and a prong below. Okay, so when I point that at the door, maximum accuracy is 21 feet away. Okay, so when I pull the trigger, there's 2 things that happen. If I hit the trigger off, I pull that, I can use it. Okay, I can shove it in the end of it. If I have the trigger, if I have this on, where that dot is,
Shoot out flames.
yeah, 1 prong goes above that dot, 1 prong goes below that dot.
That hurts. I've been taking.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's not fun. It's not. It's painful.
And,
Does it stick onto you?
That's
Yeah,
what the prongs
it's
do.
basically like a.
Prongs, the prongs are about an inch long. So they go into your skin and they're little hooks on it. What they do is they catch on to flesh to keep it from going to your bone.
Can you like just leave it on the chest?
Well, honestly, we're supposed to call for an ambulance after the taser's going to pull them. Most of the time, I just rip them off because I'm not gonna wait all day for the ambulance to show up. If I taser someone, it's because they deserve it. So I just rip it off and then I have to take them up to the hospital anyway for medical clearance before they go to jail. So I've never used a taser up here, but I have used it many a time in the street.
Have you ever gotten in a fight with a person?
Oh, yeah, many people. When you work, you gotta understand, when you're working night shift or you're working the streets, you're not dealing with people who are in a structured environment. Okay, so you're talking about people under the influence, you're talking about people under the, intoxicated, angry people who are not happy you're there. So, yeah, I've had my fair share of fights.
Did you leave them all?
We're trained a lot different than what you guys see on TV.
I heard that either you or the other one, like when you guys got stopped up by tasers,
I never got soft fire.
That's what I heard from many.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But the whole story is a lot different than what happened there.
Probably, I probably.
Did you tap for it?
So I'll ask.
Did you tackle it?
No, I never even talked to her. She took a swing at the other officer and paid the price. Huh?
David.
280 pounds come crashing down on someone that's 120 pounds. Is not-
Oh.
They should like-
He's a lot bigger than me. He's a lot tougher than me when it comes to fighting because he was a bouncer for a long time before he was a cop.
What's a bouncer?
Guy that works security events such as like a bar or a concert. You know, you keep your grip for that guy, you run people out.
What's everything on your belt?
Okay, this is my taser, this is my radio, this is my baton. Okay, it's collapsible, so if I need to flip it out.
What is this problem?
Yeah, it's like a shotgun. You know, like when someone cocks a shotgun, that's what it's meant. I carry it on my left side. Most people are right-handed. I'm actually ambidextrous, so I can use either. So I always carry it on my left side because I hit better with my left hand. Magazines for my guns, they hold the bullets. Actually, my firearm. And I always carry 2 sets of cuffs on my belt. And I carry a third set on me, 2 at times. Okay, then my pockets, I always have writing stuff, personal cell phone, work cell phone, this 1985.
Dude, the iPhone 7 Plus.
This is like an iPhone -4. It's an old flip phone. That's what they give you for work, and that's fine, because this thing's like made so if it gets dropped or ran over or something, it won't get broken. And then I carry, keys on me. I carry car keys and I carry school keys, so I can use them. And that's it.
Do you have a gun on your leg too?
Most officers do, I don't.
Really?
Nope.
I hear that some officers carry a knife on them too.
I do.
Oh,
Most of us carry knives on us because you don't use them for self-defense necessarily, but let's say you have a seatbelt that needs to get cut. I used mine one time when a lady drove into Ellie Ray and she was going under the water, so we had to cut the seatbelt off so she didn't drown. Car seats, when kids get in a car wreck and they're hurt, or the car seats attached to the seatbelt, you can't get them off. Airbags, when they deploy, they're big old puffy bag. You have to slice them so the people can get out. That's what you carry that for. Ropes, when you're working night shift, you're towing stuff, rope, cords, everything that you have to use, you use the knife.
Have you ever been in an accident?
Have I? Yeah, oh yeah. I got hit by a drunk driver one time. Huh? What'd you say? I wasn't the drunk driver, the other person. I was driving down the road and the person T-boned me on A Street. He was drunk. He thought he was going home, but he missed his house by a couple blocks. But he hit me pretty good. Got one with a pursuit where the guy wrecked. I spun him out. And then I had another one where lady pulled out.
Did it hurt?
Well, the one time I broke my collarbone. Yeah. So that hurt.
But like the impact.
Yeah, because I was going 55 miles an hour when she hit, when I hit her. So luckily for her, she wasn't hurt. I hit her on the back end, but she was banged up a little bit, but I broke my collarbone and stuff. So, it happens. That's why always wear your seatbelts, because if I didn't wear my seatbelt that day, I would have been dead. There was some of my cop car was pushed way in. And all the gear and stuff we have in there, you'd be dead. That's why we always tell you guys to wear your seatbelts.
What skills are needed for your job?
As I went through it, you're gonna need training, from the police academy. You're gonna need field training from your department. You're gonna have to know how to, good English skills, good computer skills.
welcome, Dennis.
All these I've answered. Sorry, I made him say quiet. Sorry about that.
I just gotta run it about.
Any other questions?
What's the weirdest case you've ever done?
That's a good one. Weird is a different word for law enforcement than what most people, so there's a lot to pick from. I've had some very scary cases. I have had some traumatic cases, okay, where people have died in front of you, or died in front of me. I've had tragic cases, okay, involving children. Weird is a little different. I've seen some weird things. I've seen people not at their finest moment, okay. I specifically remember, if you want to talk about weird, I remember getting a call one night that there was a group of women leaving a bar that were fighting with some men, and the men were the one that called. So that was odd, so I pulled the vehicle over, and I walk up, and there's 4 people in the vehicle, all dressed like women, makeup on, hair done,
Sounds like
dresses,
Kennedy.
and it was a drag queen vehicle. They were women, they were men dressed like women. So when they talked to me, I was like, what? He goes, we're all men, and I go, oh my God. And I turned around, I was like, what were you guys fighting about? He goes, well, we asked them to go hang out with us, and they wanted to until they realized we were all men. And I was like, oh, okay.
White chicks
said-
all over.
And the guy who came and backed me up didn't believe me, and he walked up to the vehicle and goes, oh my God. I go, yeah. He goes, you never see that much. And they were dolled up, it looked like prom. They were dressed like prom, kids going to prom.
No, that was, you know what I mean?
So, that's probably the weirdest. What?
Funniest situation.
There is a funny situation, but it's not appropriate for someone your age. And it's, we still laugh about it when I see the certain officers that were there with me. But, yeah, there's a lady downtown, well, she used to live downtown, I don't know if she still does. Rampant marijuana usage for years, so her brain's all fried. Regardless of what people tell you that marijuana doesn't ruin your brain. Anyway, she's got some mental health issues now, so there's times when she ends up thinking that she is a different person. So she does some very strange things. When I used to work nights, she was just, it'd be like once or twice a year, she would just go off the deep end, and she would just be, you'd be driving down the street and you'd see her coming down, running down the street, completely naked, because she thought she was in a different city. Nude beach. There's certain towns that have nude beaches. The same lady would be the one that would be standing on top of her apartment building wearing a wedding dress, and she was marrying her cat. Yeah, just, she's very,
No, I'm sorry.
so, but the one situation involving her is not something that you guys need to hear. But we still laugh about it to this day. So. But that's not, the funny situation is nothing like that. It's much more straight. So she's not all there.
I was elementary school.
What was the most pointless call you've had,
What's the most, infamous call?
or like pointless, like most retarded, like you didn't, like Like, it was basically that.
Oh, you mean like a BS call?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if there's one. I mean, I hate to say it, you guys, being teenagers, you guys get blamed a lot for stuff that doesn't happen. You know, not in here, I'm saying out in the real world. You know, you get there's a neighbor that lives east of here, he calls every single time you guys go up and down the street. They're driving too fast, they're going 60 miles an hour. Well, there's no possible way you can pull out from that stop sign and go by his house at 60 miles an hour. Even if you had like a 1,000 horsepower engine, you couldn't do it. And he swears up and down.
You ever
Big turbo?
responded to a call over on St. Patrick's Day?
What?
You ever go
Yes.
respond to a call on St. Patrick? Yeah,
Roland?
something like that. Crazy neighbor.
Yeah, black guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
Rowan.
my house.
He's
That's,
legendary.
yeah, that's the whole reason why.
2611 St. Patrick, number 4.
That's my house.
We go there about once a week.
Yeah, he had some problems. Like me and my cousin, we sparred out in the front yard, and we had some gloves on. We were all patted up, and we were sparring. And he called the cops. He's like, "They're trying to fight me." I'm like, "I'm
We know
sparring."
Roland. I've been dealing with Roland since I've been on.
Yeah, I was just like, "What is your problem, dude?" First, you see my stepmom tries to kill me.
He also calls and stuff on Casey all the time, saying that they ripped him off with his money.
What about that? I see him walking. I was just there all the time. I did.
Go ahead and put those in your binder. Hold on, before you do that though, any more questions? Good.
What if I need help with schoolwork? Can I call you?
Oh, so, well, you know what my minor is in? I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I have a minor in education, and I help you with certain things. But I was taught a lot different than what you guys are taught.
All right, before you guys leave, 3 on 3. 1, 2, 3. That was the weakest 3 on 3 of the day. 3 on 3. 1, 2, 3. Much better. Thank you.
He said, how much is it? He said, I know.